Yan. Okay. So in continuation, what we are trying to discuss is the social mobility. A while ago, with the stratification of people, or like the system of grouping of people according to their skin color, according to their job, according to their order in society. So in the idea of social mobility, it gives the people the chance to change a strata. Parang this is an idea that somehow informing people that there's this possibility in changing one strata. So in the four system that we discuss, the slavery system, the degree of possibility in there is possible. It is possible to have to change your position in the slavery system. So as I've mentioned, the example of 12 Years a Slave movie, since it's actually from true inspired by a true story. So basically that individual there, he was really not a slave. He was born in short, the parent of that guy was actually the one who really worked hard and was able to do social mobility, and then it's just him who somehow benefited from the social mobility of his parents. That's why he was brought up, even he's dark skinned, he was brought up to actually be an individual who happens to be well off, not super well off, but somehow comfortable in life. Yun. So, it's just that in the latter part of the movie, because of the color of his skin, and then he cannot actually prove that he is indeed not a slave. So, he was actually able to experience slavery. So, what I'm trying to say in there is that his kind could actually be able to, there's a possibility to change their situation. Okay.
I
And
I
then,
I think the guy's name is Solomon Northup. Yeah,
I believe.
Solomon. Yeah,
Mm,
his name is Solomon Northup, and is actually a real person.
mm-mm,
He is like he is an important figure in the resistance, in the resistance against slavery in the north.
Nice, nice. I like having Justin in the class. He's like my sidekick in a sense of giving information to the others. We could actually make a video, Justin and I, like you know, like he's like the don't you know that in one corner. But anyway, next, how the caste system. Ito, the caste system, the social mobility in caste system back then, when it was still not yet outlawed, the social mobility in caste system is impossible. You have to die and then reincarnated again before you change your social rank. So that's how tough the caste system is, in terms of somehow alleviating one strata. 'Di ba? And then next, with the estate system, there's a low, but it's possible, because in the estate system, either you change somehow you became a clergyman, or you somehow put up a business. But during this time of medieval period, business is really difficult to somehow pull up, kasi economics is not very competitive during this time. Okay. And the last is the class system. This is where we belong. Somehow, this is what we practice of this present generation. So basically, the social mobility in class system is possible, and it's frequently occurring. And one thing with the class system mobility, it happens. You could actually go up of the ladder or go down in the of the ladder. So, and then it happens frequently. So you could actually be okay and then not okay and then not. So somehow the class system that what we are accustomed now is very very let's say not predictable. Okay, like for example, who would have thought that people who are just in their garage, so in love with their computer, could be now the billionaires of the world? 'Di ba? Pero that's the idea of social mobility. You will really never know, right? And then those who are rich kid like Donald Trump, inherited so many estate from his parents, now starting to actually be buried in debt. Okay? So much debt from different organization, different corporation, and different country. Pero still, he was able to live naman a wealthy life. But we'll see up until when would that happen. Okay. So next is yeah, the idea of social mobility in here. So we can pass forward that na. Yan. So there's this two type of mobility. So think of it as this chart and then this individual right here. So and then the vertical line is the social hierarchy. So let's just say we can use na the class system since that's what we are accustomed into. So let's say bare living, somehow comfortable, standard, luxury living. So yun. So that's the social hierarchy. Meanwhile, the position could be let's say in this certain living, let's say sa poor, then let's say few one meal a day, two meal a day, and then let's say in terms of job naman, the job is no job at all, and then or occasional, seasonal kind of job, something like that. Now, so that's vertical, the social hierarchy, and then the position is in horizontal. The two types of that is the horizontal social mobility, meaning this individual, the movement of his or her change is horizontal. So meaning this is the definition. Yan. So the mobility involves a change in position, especially in occupation, but no change. No change in social class. Kasi you need to move vertically for you to change in social class. So somehow this individual who is actually just being promoted in a job within that same social class is what they call only a horizontal mobility. Example of that is a person who moves from managerial position and then became one in one company to a similar position in another company. It could also be, let's say, managerial and then let's say supervisor na, but still, let's say it did not affect your social stability or your income, or parang you still belong in the let's say middle class ka pa rin, even you got promoted in your job. So what you are experiencing is a horizontal mobility only. Okay? Pero let's say a one-time big time shot, a vertical mobility. Like an example of that, let's say an industrial worker who becomes a wealthy businessman moves upward in this class system. Landed aristocrat who loses every, or another naman, negative naman, if an aristocrat who loses everything in a revolution and moves downward in the system. So let's talk about the positive example muna, which is what we are romanticizing in this present generation, the idea of rags to riches kind of story. So that is an example of the vertical mobility na parang you started really in the parang middle class or even lower class talaga in terms of financial and social system like that. And then something happened to you, an opportunity arises, and then you got moved up to the hierarchy. So that's an example of a vertical mobility, the rags to riches kind of story. But there are also some stories who are like riches to rag, wherein you were born in a very high social status, but things happen to you, and in the latter part you will be part na of the lower class. So situations like that. Okay, so it could be an upward mobility or a downward mobility. So that's that. So in terms of
Wait,
yes, yes.
teacher, teacher, I have a question pa. Is it possible that the vertical and horizontal can happen?
Yes. Both of it happen at the same time.
Yes, like a
Kasi it
person
will look like this, oh.
move socially and vertically.
Yes, it
Yes.
will look like this. 'Di ba? Like a ladder. Like also at the same it will look like kasi my previous topic is demand and supply. So 'di ba parang the idea that it goes up. So something like that. So yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Like for example, your managerial position, then you became a supervisor who happens to actually give you a salary that is really, really high. So it's in the bracket, let's say, of a middle class. Parang before you're in the lower class, pero you got promoted as a supervisor. Tas yung salary mo, nag-range na siya in the lower class ka, tas nag-range siya sa middle class. O di middle class ka, you actually experience horizontal and at the same time, you experience vertical. 'Di ba? And then let's say hard work mo, you decided to invest. Tapos nag-invest ka, tapos nag-boom yung investment mo, and then you have another resource of money. So hindi ka na lang middle class. Let's say na-achieve mo na being a higher class. And at the same time, di ka na worker ngayon. You're, let's say, you're a businessman na who owns, let's say, two branches of a restaurant or something like that. So there's a possibility that both can happen to an individual. Horizontal na, vertical pa. So that's actually the very definition of the ladder of success. Kasi hindi ka lang umaakyat ng one vertical ladder. You're really in a stairs. 'Di ba? So it's really like a stairway to success. 'Di ba? Yan. That's why parents are really somehow encouraging us to really pursue a career because career can really put you in a position of horizontal. And then let's say your family belongs in a certain social class. Your career will help you keep that social class or even move you up to another social class. So that's why that example of me to my example to parents associated with this next subtopic, which is the idea of generational. Ah, yes, Anika, would you like to share something?
Or no po, Chair. I would just like to share that I think some people are really like passionate or have this grit within them that they will move up in the social ladder because they are risk risk taker.
Risk taker.
And I learned
Yes.
in the organ management class that we had last time in our elective po that most businesses or businessmen are risk takers, but some people just want to remain stable in their social class. They don't want to lose or gain anything. That's why they're kind of mediocre.
Yes,
And
and
then
in the
sometimes
horizontal.
yes po, like that
Yeah.
po. I just realized it then po. Like
Nice.
it's a risk po that we have to take.
Oo. Thank you for mentioning that. I actually forgot that idea already. Pero now that you brought that up with the org and management lecture nga, yeah, that's true. If you're like a grittier kind of individual who wants to really move up of the ladder, tendency your goal is really you're a risk taker. Your goal really is to change status. Pero yun nga, it depends on your skill. Either you go upward or downward. But that's one thing with those individual. They want an upward parang the vertical rather. They want a vertical movement. But there are some people who's like, okay na with what's happening and then usually their movement is just horizontal. 'Di ba? In the situation. Nice, Anika. Thank you for resharing that somehow idea. Okay, the next type of mobility has something to do with parents and our parang elders and how they want their children to be successful. So it has something to do with generational mobility. So mobility can be examined by how much time it takes to occur. So ito naman yung time na is that change in status will happen within one's lifetime or sa next na sa children niya na yung magbe-benefit. So that's the idea of intragenerational and intergenerational. So intragenerational is a time period wherein the success happened within your generation. So you yourself happen na this is your standing and then within that lifetime that you have, you became richer or sad to say, let's say you became poorer. So that's an example of intragenerational mobility. So there's an image of that. Yan. So imagine the ladder as one's lifetime. Okay, one generation lifetime. So uh, uh, they say na, let's say this is your status, and then you move upward, it's a good intra-generational mobility. Pero let's say this is your status, and then you go down somehow, yan, why it's good pa din? Parang there's wrong statement in here Pero yun nga, kasi you move downward, dapat it's not good. 'Di ba? Pero in this statement pa nga, yan, even in the same level, yan, level unchanged, still somehow a bad intragenerational mobility. Kasi meaning nothing change. I think this must be corrected. Kasi lower class siya. So this is what I'm just trying to say na in one individual's lifetime, a change occur. So that's what you call an intra-generational. Okay, intra-generational mobility. Meanwhile, ito yung medyo somehow dramatic in a sense kasi this is an intergenerational kind of success. That meaning your parents will really work hard, and then the fruit of their labor will not actually be experienced by their generation, by their timeline, but rather their children to come. So this is an example of that. Let's say these two parents right here, and then they are able to actually acquire wealth, acquire opportunity, and other things in life, and they're actually able to send their children in a higher class in that child's lifetime. Okay? Or sometimes in sociology, they view naman if this is the class of the parent, and then same lang din kinalabasan with the children, it is actually viewed as a bad intergenerational. And even worse, that let's say this is the ladder of the parent, and then the child is lower than what they achieve. So, those are like the situation in terms of mobility. Pero every parent's goal is actually when I imagine a parent molding their children and encouraging them to study hard, I actually see a parent carrying a child in a ladder. Tapos they will do their very best to really push you to step on the next ladder. Even they will be retaining on that step that they are in. Basta what is important to them is to push you in the best of their ability, in the best of their resources for you to move up a step. Okay? That's why when parents are saying, it's okay, you have to be better than me. Actually, that's the highest form of love and sacrifice. Diba? That they want you to get better than them, or somehow get opportunities in life better than what they get. So yun, yung examples like this, yung when an individual changes class because of a business success, or a mailroom clerk's son becomes the corporate officer. So yan, intergenerational mobility. So if we talk about the vertical and horizontal, it's the mobility itself. But when we talk about intra and intergenerational, it talks about the time period where it occur. So intra is within one's generation, inter is like the effects of it in the next generation. Okay. So this one was actually already discussed in our previous topic, the idea of status. Na one's status, parang your social status, one could actually achieve it through hard work and things like that, or it could be ascribed that you inherited such a class or such status. We already know that, right? So that's already settled in our mind. Now, there are other bases of certification. So, in the previous subtopics that we talk about, it really revolves around money, occupation, success. Yun, all those kind of bling bling. But there are also other bases of social stratification. And of course, we are very familiar with the idea of stratification based on race. Okay, stratification based on race, wherein biological attribution of a group of people transmitted from one generation to another. So our also perspective of beauty and perspective of somehow what group is superior and what group is inferior. So somehow we accustom that with race. Okay. We could really see it like the whites really have that confidence and superiority over other races. Okay. And then in terms of ethnicity as well, a distinctive social identity based on unique cultural traits. So there are ethnicity ideas such as, let's say, majority cultural group and the minority. somehow the indigenous. So, things like that. So, somehow Asian. Tapos within Asian, let's say Filipino. Tapos within Filipinos, there are also other indigenous people in there. So, ano din, there's stratification within those group of individual. Okay. So, of course, in terms of gender, so it's based on personal trait and social position that members of a society attach to being a female and being a male. But upon observing of all the somehow social stratification basis, parang this one is like the one moving, parang moving forward. Parang this one, in terms of gender, is the one that's progressive kasi sa racial, medyo ano pa, may resistance pa. You could actually see that they are not anymore judgy, but they're also not accepting. Diba? Unlike in gender, there's no judgment anymore and there's acceptance, you could feel it. Kasi women are being empowered in terms of the work already and like that. I watched this ano nga eh, parang the history of feminism in Netflix. And I hope you could actually watch that. Anyway, it's ano naman, child friendly. So nothing ano naman, nothing to somehow censor in there. Ano lang siya, it's really nice, especially for those who do not believe in the gender inequality. You will really see in there how women are treated in the past. Okay, so yun, gender. And in terms of age, ito, rarely talk about this eh, when people are stratified according to age. You will not feel it yet kasi you're young. Okay, na parang you get to actually enjoy luxuries of life kasi you're young. But as you get older, there are some things that you're not allowed to do based on society's standard, something like that. So the aging, yan, it examines actually three situation. It could be biological restraint or biological certification, psychological, and even social. So with the aging, can you give me an example of, let's say, a stratification in terms of age? Kasi I have something in mind, but I want to know if you also think the same thing. Yes, Stephen. What can you think of an example about age stratification? Parang may inequality in terms of age.
Sure, ano po, I'm thinking po of an child labor. Is it considered
Child
child
labor.
labor?
Inequality eh. Parang somehow I get what you're trying to say, but parang it's hard to connect to our lesson of of ano eh, of stratification. Mm.
Chair,
Yes, yes, Kisha.
I think ano, Chair, for me po, is it considered the skills po? Like
Further
because
elaborate.
when you're already old, there's a probability, there's ano, Chair, like a chance na you won't be able to work anymore and gain money for of your own. But if you are ano, Chair, like young, Chair, you have the capability to work and to sustain your ano, Chair, like
Mm.
needs like that.
Yun, that aspect. Sige, sige. You're good in that of thinking that naman the idea of providing. Diba? When you're a child, you cannot provide. You're dependent, and then versus the independence. Yun, good Kisha, good. I was actually thinking of of stratifying people based on their age, let's say in applying for a job. Like for example, in being a flight stewardess, there's actually an age requirement for that, or I'm not sure if they're still using that at this present time. But way back in the 50s and 60s, if flight stewardess are only should be like 25 to 29 years old. Now, if you actually reach your 30 na, they will hire na other flight stewardess already. Na parang you see that's like the age stratification in terms of job. It could also be age
Also with height din po.
in height. Yon, 'di ba? We could actually put that in kasi there's a mentioning in here of physical attribute eh. Ayan no, in biological attribute. Pero I think it's we could associate that nga with other basis. Physical na lang, physical attribute could actually be a part of certification. Thank you for mentioning that kasi there are somehow grouping of people based on what they can achieve kasi of height, even the facial structure, and also there's this I learn uh in Tulpo na there's pala parang an unspoken law, an unspoken rule rather, na if a person somehow have a bad frontal teeth, hindi talaga siya nakukuha sa trabaho. And I was like, really? It's like that? So I just learn it from Tulpo. So, yun nga, yun sa issue of Tekla and the 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 partner of Tekla. So, ganun pala yun. So, you see, it's already na, 'di ba? An idea of
Mm.
inequality in there. So, you're depriving a person to be able to work because of those strata that a group of individuals set. Yun. So, aside
Yes,
from yun,
sure. Also with other jobs po, like they don't allow the tattoo or
mm,
some
mm,
sir. I don't know why, 'di ba? Why do
yes.
they restrict that to look neat? Ganun. Parang I
Mm.
don't get it
Tas
po.
'di ba there's this trending situation that I'm not sure kung sino nagsabi, has something to do nga with tattoo, na it's a DepEd module that this person is tattooed. What is this person?
Model agad.
Criminal.
Criminal.
Criminal daw
Yeah,
tattoo.
I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, is it in this class? I was thinking it's in
Yes
this
po, you mentioned
in
it last time.
NSS yun. Siguro
Yes,
kasi
Chair,
it's
also the
on my
And
mind.
fireman.
then,
Yeah,
Chair, I have a
also the body
question
shaming.
po.
Body shaming, okay. Yeah, yes.
I have a question, Chair, because I saw it, Chair, the